So I received a rather lengthy message from another INFP today, and it was detailing different experiences from the past and his worries about the future. But the core of the message was around sensitivity and how he's struggled his entire life with sensitivity, which has resulted in like anxiety, a lot of fears, a lot of procrastination, a lot of distractions, holding himself back from taking actions on, certain goals or aspirations of his. So firstly, I can really resonate and relate with that experience. The thing that came up for me, so like the short answer of this is that once you learn to embrace your sensitivity and your gifts and can focus it in the right direction or channel it towards an aspiration, like sensitivity is such a powerful gift. And I think that's like kind of how artists are able to do it, because they see the world in very unique ways, very special ways. And I know for me anyway, like when I watch a movie or I go out to a new place, like I just have a cocktail of experience that sometimes I can't even articulate to people. In here, there's just so much going on. And I guess if that was my direction to become like an artist or a musician or something like that, then I would develop the skills to be able to articulate what I'm experiencing through the form of art. But since that's not my path, like I just kind of enjoy the experience internally, just the ability to experience it with so much richness and depth. I think it's just a really beautiful experience. So sensitivity is an amazing thing, when we learn to embrace it. And I remember I used to have a really big problem with sensitivity, and I used to see it as a weakness. I used to see it as something that would hold me back in life, as I would see other people get ahead because they weren't sensitive or they could shut off their emotions and so on and so forth. But when I first started this coaching journey, I had the opportunity to work with like a really brilliant coach. But one of the things they said to me when they were coaching me was they acknowledged my sensitivity, which was something that I rarely heard. But the core of what he was trying to say to me was like, your sensitivity is a beautiful thing. And that will translate into gifts of empathy, understanding, compassion, and deep service. Like your ability to connect with people, when you can become focused, when you're non-distracted, or when you're in a state of clarity is going to be like none other. And he was even saying things like he himself doesn't experience that depth of, emotion and sensitivity. And so although he can push through certain things, in a very logical, rational way, how he has a hard time really connecting deeply with clients. And he was saying that because of my gifts of sensitivity, that I could end up being a better coach than him one day, which that sort of acknowledgement and encouragement had me shift my perspective on my sensitivity and my emotions. And so I started to see them as a gift and something that I would embrace and find focus within, or to be able to channel and focus towards like an aspiration. And in my case, it's service. And in other people's cases, it might be artistry, it might be writing, it might be filmmaking or other sort of creative endeavors. And the next thing I want to talk about was like, I can understand how hard it can be though when you're in the depth of your emotion. And I can understand how much of a struggle it can be and how painful it can be. One thing I will say is that we can all learn to handle it. And I don't want to like talk about traumas and stuff because that's not my area of expertise. That's for like the psychologists and therapists and stuff. But I have spoken with people that have had trauma, and even in my own life and some of the traumas that I've experienced is that we can learn to handle it, if we're willing, if we want to. We can learn to face our emotions, we can learn to embrace them, we can learn to embrace really any experience that comes into our field of experience. This thing that Michael A. Singer says where he's like, it takes, when something comes up, it takes 1 second when you react or you push away or suppress to go in, and it may take 10 years to come out, right, to release itself. And sometimes it releases itself in like sort of random ways. You're watching a movie and then you get emotional release, or something happens spontaneously and then you get an emotional release, and who knows when that happens. But like when I heard that, for me, I wanted to handle this myself. Like whatever came up, I wanted to handle it. I wanted to allow it to release because I didn't want it to have it stuck in there for 10 years. And when it's stuck in there, when it's a trapped pattern within your body mind, it'll continue to come up. So like anytime it comes up, it's an opportunity to be like, okay, I'm going to face this. I'm going to handle it, and I can handle it. And that's a really great mantra to have. I used to do this a lot where 3 times you have this affirmation, morning, noon, and nighttime. You tell yourself that you can handle it. Like, I can handle it, I can handle it, I can handle it. And Michael A. Singer's thing is the purpose of my day is to let go of my stuff. The purpose of my day is to let go of my stuff. So I would combine the two and I would repeat that I can handle it. And so whenever my stuff came up, got triggered, like the outside world coming in, or a person said something, or fear of judgment, fear of insecurity, all this sensitivity and stuff, all this stuff would come up. I'd be like, I can handle it, I could handle it, and I would relax and I would let it to do its thing through my field of experience and release itself and it transmute itself. And then I would come back to the present moment and I would continue whatever activity I was doing. I wish I could give my ability to be able to process emotions to you, but I can't. Like, you're in there, you're the one who's experiencing this, you have your own unique set of conditioning, traumas, experiences. You're the one that needs to learn how to handle this. Like, the cavalry ain't coming, like no one's gonna come and save you, no one's gonna come and handle it for you. So like, whatever you need to face, you need to face. And if you do face it, on the other side of facing it is the freedom that you're looking for. The other side of facing it is that understanding that you're looking for. And to add to that, you can talk to the mind as well. Like, as you're going through what you're going through, right? And the heart is experiencing what it experiences, and then the mind wants to protect you and suppress, or go into all these mind patterns and loops, like automated thoughts from the subconscious mind. You can create another layer of mind. There's created thoughts and automatic thoughts. You can create thoughts to talk to your mind, to offer the automatic thoughts or the subconscious mind that are bringing up these thoughts some perspective. You can speak to in a way that will look at the situation in a more positive light, or bring a lot more perspective into the situation, so it doesn't just keep you in that turmoil, that doesn't just keep you in that that noisiness, and tell you that you need to go for a distraction or a craving or whatever it is. Like, you can actually be with the mind and speak to it. You can tell your mind that you can handle this, I can handle this, I can be with this, I can let it pass through my field of experience, and I don't want this stuff in me anymore. I'm gonna let it pass through and I'll be better off for it. And I know you're trying to protect me. I know that you have my best interest at heart, but I got this, and you can speak to your mind in that way. And in that way, you will handle, and you can handle whatever emotions that you're facing, whatever your heart wants to express, whatever vibrations are coming up for you. And over time, you'll notice that stuff doesn't bother you anymore. Like, your resistance to certain things, activities, actions, people, judgment, insecurities, all that stuff, it just doesn't come up to bother you as much as it did. And when you handle your stuff, and this is what I see as the meaning of life is really experience. I had this INFP, and a lot of my clients have asked this, what do I think the meaning of life is, right? And for me, it's experience. We have the goal line, which is the horizontal plane, and the soul line, which is the vertical plane. And the two synergize so perfectly. So as we're going into life and we are going towards directions or aspirations, stuff is gonna come up for us, right? And by handling it, we move up the soul line. I think INFPs, and this is just a gross generalization, I think INFPs are very attracted to the soul line, like the esoteric and wanting to expand or transcend. But then they're kind of conflicted in the sense that they see a lot of people just living on the goal line and achieving goals and sort of expanding in sort of a material way, more money and so on and so forth. Actually, the two synergize so beautifully. Like, you can have both, and you should have both. And I think that's what life is about, is like the synergy of the goal line and the soul line. So like, as you're doing the goal line, I'll give you an example, like people that are just on the goal line that never learn from the things they need to learn from, right? And they're just like gung-ho on achievement. It's like, there's a lot of suppressed stuff in there, So like, a lot of the soul line stuff gets suppressed and turns into reactivity, neglect. They don't look at the things that bring meaning to their life besides achievement and more. And so that causes a whole list of issues around, connection, family, meaning, purpose, and just fulfillment in general there. And then there are people that just focus on the soul line, right? So they just focus on enlightenment or transcending or, being spacious or empty, but then they don't integrate what they're learning on the soul line through the expression of form, by creating something. And they get trapped on just the soul line. And so there's an importance of the synergy of both. Like, this is what I see what we're here to do. We're here to have experience, all kinds of experiences, some that have very low vibrations that suck and are painful and hurt and are heartbreaking, and then these beautiful experiences as well. We always learn through challenges, we always learn through hard times as we create on the world, as we create in the world of form. and we move on the goal line, a lot of the stuff will come to challenge us and bring our stuff up, which is great because then we can handle it and let it do its thing for our field of experience, and then we can continue evolving in, I guess, the diagonal plane, right? But it's not like this, it's more like like that. So yeah, that's all I've got. Anyway, I hope that one helps you out. Embrace your sensitivity because it really is a gift. You can and will learn how to handle your emotions and the vibrations that come up. And yeah, continue making gains on the goal line and the soul line. Catch you guys on the next one.